If I told you I plan to give birth at home, what would be your first reaction? For most people, it's probably, isn't that dangerous? Today, I want to show you why the evidence says otherwise. Long before I ever enrolled in midwifery school, I spent countless hours reading the research because I wanted to know what the evidence actually said. After doing my own research, I chose to have 2 planned home births, and both were incredible experiences. Those experiences are what inspired me to become a student midwife. But today, I don't want you to believe home birth is safe simply because I had a positive experience. I want you to understand what the research shows. So, before we talk about the studies, it's important to understand the midwifery model of care because I truly believe it is one of the biggest reasons families have such excellent outcomes and experiences. The midwifery model of care recognizes pregnancy and birth as normal physiological events rather than illnesses that automatically require medical intervention. Instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, every client receives individualized care. Every pregnancy is different, every family has different goals, and every birth plan is unique. Midwives spend time getting to know their clients through longer prenatal visits, discussing all kinds of things like nutrition, emotional well-being, lifestyle, education, while continuously assessing whether the pregnancy remains low risk. That relationship continues to grow through labor and birth and the postpartum period, creating the continuity of care that allows changes to be recognized early. Most importantly, safe home birth is never about avoiding medical care. It's about providing the right level of care and collaborating with doctors or hospitals whenever a higher level of care becomes necessary. That brings me to the research. One of the largest studies ever conducted on planned home birth in the United States followed nearly 17,000 planned home births attended by midwives. Researchers found that approximately 89% of those families gave birth at home, while only 11% transferred to the hospital, most often for non-emergent reasons. The study also found a 93.6% spontaneous vaginal birth rate and only a 5.2% cesarean rate, and very low use of interventions like epidurals or oxytocin. Serious newborn complications were very uncommon, with a neonatal mortality rate of 0.41 per 1,000 births. The Birthplace in England study followed more than 64,000 healthy, low-risk pregnancies and found no significant difference in adverse perinatal outcomes between home birth and hospital birth. Families planning home births experienced significantly fewer interventions like epidurals, assisted vaginal birth, episiotomies, and cesarean births. While first-time parents did have higher transfer rates than those who had previously given birth, the transfers demonstrate that midwives continually assess safety and collaborate with hospital care when it's appropriate. Then there was a systematic review that combined 14 studies representing approximately 500,000 planned home births in high-resource countries like the United States. And researchers found no significant difference in perinatal or neonatal mortality between the home birth and the hospital births that were planned. They also found no evidence that home birth increased mortality for either first-time parents or those who had previously given birth. So when people ask me whether home birth is safe, my answer is yes. For healthy, low-risk pregnancies attended by a qualified midwife, planned out-of-hospital birth is a safe option. It's not just safe because home birth happens. It's safe because careful screening, individualized care, continuous risk assessment by midwives, and the trusting relationship that develops between them and their families they serve. As a future midwife here in Georgia, my goal is not to convince everyone to choose home birth. Hospitals save lives, and they are absolutely the right place for many families to give birth at. My goal is to simply make sure that every family knows that they have choices. Every family deserves to have access to accurate, evidence-based information so that they can choose the birth setting that feels safest and most right for them. For healthy, low-risk pregnancies, decades of research shows that planned out-of-hospital birth is a safe option. Thank you for my 5-minute elevator speech on why home birth is safe. Hope you enjoyed.